Here we are. We are live. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to our Ship of Magic live show by Robin Hobb. My name is Megan. I have the channel Megan's Reading Revelations. And if you guys want to go around and introduce yourselves, give your name, something about your channel, or an interesting bookish fact. Andrew, do you want to start?
Sure. I'm Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads. I'm a relatively new booktube channel. I liked Ship of Magic. I did have complaints with it, so I'm interested to see if everybody agrees with me or tells me if I'm nuts. Typically, my channel does mostly fantasy with a little bit of sci-fi. We do focus on a lot of older fantasy, and then sometimes, if we have time, do work on newer releases. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Awesome. All right, Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. My channel is Miss Richards Reads, and I mainly read fantasy, classics, and cozy mysteries. And I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah. All right,
I'm Stephanie, but I can go by Steph for this live show just to keep it from getting too confusing for people. My channel is Stephanie's Bookverse, and I read mostly fantasy as well, but I do throw some like sci-fi thrillers, even every once in a while a contemporary on there. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, I'm just checking some technical stuff here real quick. Okay, cool. So was this any of you guys' first Robin Hobb book?
And this is my fourth. Actually, I read 2 Robin Hobb books in 1 month in order to get this done. Me and Nico worked hard.
That is intense because her books are dense. So
we did Assassin's Quest at the beginning of the month and then ended it with Ship of Magic.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, wow.
It was a dense month last month.
Yeah.
I finished it 2 days ago.
It's all fresh in your mind.
Yeah, I finished it on the 31st.
What about you guys? This is your first Robin Hobb book?
No, I read the Farseer trilogy before this. So
Okay.
number 4.
Yeah, I've read the first 2 books in the Farseer trilogy. So I'm going to finish that out now that I've read this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're going to want to finish, from what I've heard, you're going to want to finish Assassin's Quest before you move on to Mad Ship. Because I heard that there are spoilers in Mad Ship for the end of Assassin's Quest.
There's a little bit of spoilers in Ship of Magic, actually, for Assassin's Quest as well. I mean, you wouldn't notice them too much unless you already read it, but they're definitely there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was looking for spoilers. So when I finished Assassin's Quest maybe 2 years ago. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's definitely not fresh in my head. And I was like reading this and I'm like, oh, there's no spoilers. So if there are, then totally
very minor. Yeah, but
the result of the giant conflict in the Six Duchies is mentioned as like something that happened 2 or 3 years ago, but I didn't catch anything else.
I didn't catch it.
There's a very small thing, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. But
I was about to ask you, Steph, what it was, but I'm like, wait, no, Stephanie hasn't read it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to spoil it for her, but it's just so minor, and I feel like it wouldn't really spoil anything because you wouldn't notice it. You wouldn't notice it unless you were looking for it, I think.
Oh, okay.
So what did you guys think about the shift in like POVs? Because the Farseer was first person, where like in Fitz's head and going through his experiences. Did you find it kind of jarring that she chose to completely do third person and have multiple perspectives?
I didn't, mainly because the tone of the story still relatively stayed the same. I thought Farseer was a very melancholy, very morose type story, and I felt that was maintained with Liveship.
I agree.
Yes.
With Fitz, like anything bad that could happen to Fitz, happened to Fitz. So definitely.
I just came across somebody did a 1-sentence recommendation for Farseer, and it was like anything that can't go wrong to Fitz will. And that was so the recommendation.
Spot on.
It was hilarious. I think that was Orion. If you're ever in Mike's Discord, it's his channel.
I'll have to check it out. He just recommended a book to me that I bought, so
Orion's awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to say that or check it out. So it was a little bit jarring to me just because I was so used to being in Fitz's head. And I mean, I like third person point of view in fantasy, so I think it definitely worked for this story. It was just, I don't know, it was just a bit of a change. I don't have a preference either way, but
Yeah, I think there was just a big break for me, so it wasn't as big a deal. Like I had a several month break since I'd read the Farseer trilogy, and so I don't know, didn't really feel like I was in that quite as much anymore.
So did you guys have a favorite point of view that you enjoyed reading from?
I liked Paragon.
Malta, definitely Malta.
Are you being facetious?
Oh, absolutely.
I was like, please no, I'll die.
Slap her with a stick, like every time.
It's the worst.
I think personally, I don't think she's going anywhere.
No.
And I think because she's so young, we are going to see a lot of character growth and see her really mature throughout the books. So I think that you're meant not to like her, and I think you're supposed to grow with her.
Yeah, one of my subscribers even said like she has one of the best character arcs of any like character, and I was like, oh, whoa, really?
Well,
because
she can only go up.
That's true.
God.
You know, she reminded me of, I don't know if you've read Pride and Prejudice, but she reminded me of Lydia Bennett.
Oh
and
my
I
God,
also want to smack Lydia Bennett.
Like
I
a
can
young
see
teenager
that.
that makes stupid decisions.
Yeah.
I've not read it.
And like so silly, and I don't care what my mom says, I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
She's just a little snot.
Yeah.
I'd have
So
told you the
bad.
truth if you'd have just believed me. And
If you believe my lie, I would have told you the truth. I'm like,
Okay, so I'm super interested to see, because if I hated her so much in this book, I'm like, well, if I grow to like her, then that'll be like a testament to Robin Hobb's ability to write characters if she can make me enjoy this point of view. Yeah. But I personally grew to like Wintro. He kind of was a little bit aggravating at the beginning, even though like I understand his grievances with his situation because it was just horrible. But I thought his growth from the beginning to the end, and just that last scene where he is, you know, I was gonna say driving the ship, but that is totally not the right word.
it works.
The ship during the storm, you know, and then when Kenneth's attacking to them, I love that scene with him. I thought it was great.
Yeah, by the end of the book, he was my favorite. I wouldn't say he was my favorite throughout the entire story. Everybody kind of frustrated me a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Paragon, I think one of us said Paragon, but Paragon's probably my favorite.
Yeah, I said Paragon. I liked him a lot.
Question. So I DM'd a guess for the future for who Amber is. Does anybody have any guesses who Amber is?
I'm horrible at guessing. I'm always wrong.
I never really guess. I'm the type of person that just like likes to enjoy the ride, and trying to like make guesses on future books is just never been a big thing of mine.
Then I won't push the issue any further. I have a guess, and I've shared it with a couple people, and I'm interested to see. I think it's the Fool.
Ooh.
Because you know how his gender is often questioned, especially, this isn't really a spoiler, but in the third book, they're like, one of the characters vehemently believes that the Fool is a female, and the Fool never confirms or denies if he's a male or female or neither. So when Andrew said that, I was like, okay.
Well, and in the third one, this isn't really a spoiler either, but doesn't he get into like wood carving?
Yeah, he makes wooden toys for kids.
Yeah.
So
oh, that'd be cool.
That would be really cool.
And then,
well, and I'm trying to decide if that's a spoiler or not. Would it be because I think at the very end of the book it is mentioned he might be in Bingtown of Assassin's Quest.
That, but like I said, it's been several years since I've
like that would have. I think that was in the epilogue.
Oh yeah, he goes off sailing.
You want me to grab my book? I can read you the epilogue.
Yeah, mine's all the way upstairs.
He goes somewhere, but I don't remember if it's Bingtown or not. But I do remember, yeah, he goes sailing off into the sea.
So
other reasons would be spoiler on why I think it's the Fool, so I'm not going to go any further into that.
No, that's really cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's cool. But going back to Paragon, so I was like looking at the cover of, I think it was Mad Ship. Yeah, I think Paragon's on the cover of Mad Ship. So what do you think?
I've only got the UK, so it's only these basic.
Yeah, I have these ones too. I like them better.
Me too.
I just got this version of Tawny Man as well.
So isn't that Paragon? Maybe.
Are his eyes all Like,
They're like closed.
I bet it is.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, is this a spoiler? Is Althea gonna like Captain Paragon? I don't know. I could definitely see that. I was kind of hoping, at the beginning of the book when we found out that she used to come visit him and felt comfortable going to see him. I was like, I could see her taking Paragon out since she lost Vivacia. So I don't know.
I said I didn't realize it was Vivacia until I watched your review. My mind auto-corrected to Vivenica, even though there's no N.
Oh, I called her Vivacia or something, and someone corrected me, and I was like,
Vivacia.
I'm sorry.
Oh, so apparently we do have a mild spoiler. Apparently Paragon's face does get reworked in Mad Ship.
Okay.
Oh, yay.
That's good.
Yeah. So I don't know. I see Althea.
Well, it's curious because it wasn't just Althea. It was, I don't know how to pronounce. I say Brashen.
Yeah, it's Brashen.
Brashen. I think they're both going to end up on Paragon.
I would like that.
I would too.
Mainly because of the romance, which I could see turning into something real. Mainly because, like, Althea's kind of questioning, oh, I would have liked to say goodbye. I don't know really why I'm thinking about him. And, like, he's kind of doing the same thing of, like, a what could have been. And they're both kind of heading home.
Mm-hmm.
And since the second book is called Mad Ship, I imagine it involves Paragon and the two of them.
Debbie's here. Oh,
I shared this link.
Oh,
I shared this link across like 10 Discords. So I don't know who's going to show up.
I don't technology, guys.
I do hope that they get together on him. That would be really fun. Yeah.
I like them together. Oh, hey, Shire.
Ooh, Mad Ship is your favorite?
I do hear that Mad Ship is the best.
Good.
Well, I mean, the stakes were so high in Ship of Magic. Like, I can't imagine how much higher they're going to get, because the thing that really got me is, like, you have the Vivacia who, needs Althea, needs Vestrit blood, and Wintro, who's not really sure he wants to be a part of that. And then you have the family who is on the brink of bankruptcy. And then you have the Rainwild folks demanding their blood covenant. So I'm like, the stakes are so high. I don't really know how much higher they can get. And then at the end, when Kenneth takes over Vivacia, I was like, oh my gosh, like I really don't know what to expect in the next book.
What do you guys think of Kenneth as a character?
I think you don't like him. Well, I think ultimately he is going to be the villain of the piece. In book one, we're meant to believe that Kyle is kind of only the villain of Ship of Magic.
I think he's a good guy.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
You think Kyle's a good guy?
No, I don't think Kyle's a good guy.
Oh, I was like, what?
No, I think he's
the same book.
Like,
is that what I said? Because I meant to say bad guy. If I said good guy, it's a brain fart.
Okay, I wouldn't guess it if you did. So
sometimes I just talk, and even though I'm saying it correctly in here, it doesn't come out correctly here.
No, it totally could have just heard it wrong.
One of our members on Discord, that was her favorite character. She said it was
Kenneth?
No, Kyle.
I saw that too, and I was like, that's kind of an interesting
I think
choice.
it was Monique.
Yeah, so
I think initially Kyle's issue is he thinks. Okay, I have multiple issues with Kyle, but my issues with Kyle are also issues with the story and with Hobb's writing. Personally, from a standpoint of he's been part of this family for 15 years. I don't care how often he's been sailing. You're going to tell me in 15 years you didn't learn a single Bingtown tradition or anything about live ships, but you know the Bingtown laws, but you didn't know anything about this family that you married into for a decade and a half, and you didn't know that turning a live ship into a slaver was a bad idea, that, it just everything bugged me. It bugged me that, what was the mother's name?
Cathria.
Not
Ronica?
Kyle's wife.
Ronica.
It bugged me that Ronica made the decisions she did after being married to Ephron for over 30 years, running all of the holds, yet you didn't see this coming. You didn't realize your son-in-law of 15 years was a bad person. Like, how blind are all of you?
Yeah, I agree.
And that kind of bugged me. To me, the way sorry, I'm not trying to bulldoze past you. I just need to get it out because I'm so passionate about this specific issue. It feels like Hobb wrote her outline and then forced the characters to meet that outline, at least in the beginning, because it didn't make a whole lot of logical sense. And she does spend some time trying to explain it away between tradition and law later in the book, but at that point, it had already pulled me out of the story.
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest issue with Ship of Magic.
I think a lot. Oh, go ahead.
No,
Megan.
you go.
I think a lot of the things with Kyle is that he knows that turning a live ship into a slaver is a bad idea, or he's been told, but he's just so arrogant that he doesn't care. You know, he's just like, they just won't do it. Like, they just won't do it because they don't want to do slaving, but it'll work. It'll be fine. Like, I can make it happen. I can make Vivacia do what I want her to do. And I think that's more his problem, not the fact that no one has told him. It's that he just doesn't care. He thinks he's kind of like the king of the world and he can make people do things, even if there's a reason why people don't do that.
And I feel that comes from a kind of arrogance that his family would have noticed and not have given him a live ship.
You'd think.
So it's just a little bit of a logical issue that I have in my brain of, if he had this kind of ambition, I don't think he's intelligent enough to fool Ephron and Ronica for a decade and a half.
I don't know if his wife didn't realize he was abusive, but the excuse was, well, he was always sailing and he was never home. And whenever he was home, it was all like rainbows and butterflies. But then when she spent time with him for a little while, then it came out. I'm like, I feel like if you know someone for that long, there would have been signs. Like, you don't just start beating your son. Like,
Yeah.
it just,
or, you know, breaking promises to monasteries when you clearly had to have agreed to send her to the monastery when he was sent to the monastery.
So that threw me off too. But I mean, nothing's perfect.
Those were my only issues with the actual writing of the story, though. Everything else was fantastic, other than the fact that just crap happens to everybody.
Yeah,
that's true.
What about Althea? Because I originally thought that she was going to be like our main protagonist and she was the main person we were going to follow. And we really didn't. Like, we followed way more of Ronica and Kepria than I thought, way more of Wintro than I thought. So
I didn't think we'd get Malta, and then they threw her in there too. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely felt like this book could have been trimmed by about 80 pages by removing Malta.
There's got to be a plot line there.
Oh, I'm sure it's gonna pick up across various books. It has to.
So let's talk about Malta, because I'm kind of curious now. Do you think that she's going to end up marrying the guy that she...
I do too.
I do.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think she'll either be forced to or choose to, but I think one way or the other it's going to happen.
I think she's starting out forced, and then she's going to realize, well, hey, we're never actually shown his face. So at the end of the book, she just assumed he's covered in warts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's going to find out he doesn't have warts. And all of a sudden, he's going to...
Isn't that his mom? It's his mom, right? Who's like the big head leader lady.
Yeah.
It says hers are very minor. So maybe their family is so powerful that they come on more gradually or less, or they aren't as bad.
She deserves a guy with warts, though.
She does. No,
she's 12.
She's so shallow.
That's her punishment. I could see like her marrying into the family and somehow like reestablishing trade between the Vestrits and them, because Ephron refused to trade in magical goods or whatever. So I could see her kind of being like a liaison and maybe reopening that relationship.
Maybe, but she's like 12. How are you going to make her part so... Like, they say her part becomes a lot bigger, but she's 12 years old. Like, what's she going to do?
She's a youngin'.
I know.
We might get a small time skip between the two. So, oh, hello, Leon.
Hello. Sorry, I'm trying to type and I can't see my keyboard, but I just said hello to you, but I'm going to type it to you anyway. That's productive. Do you think that they're going to lose all of their house and everything because of their financial troubles?
Oh, probably. It's Robin Hobb.
Yeah.
Anything bad's going to happen.
Everything's
if it can
bad.
happen, it's going to.
I did not. Okay, I found this to be a fairly bleak book. I'm like, absolutely nothing happened to any of these characters at all. So I was expecting at least maybe some glimmer. I don't know, but yeah, nothing happened.
Well, there's a theme of ignorance throughout the entire. Just everybody's ignorant. I forgot that Ronica didn't foresee losing all control of the family finances, even though she should have known better. Kefria didn't foresee Kyle becoming abusive. Windrow didn't foresee being forced into being a sailor.
Well, he wouldn't see that. Like we said, he's 13. You know, he's a kid.
That's
probably
true.
Legit didn't see that coming.
But
I love that.
Yeah. Althea didn't foresee not getting Vivacia. It just nobody saw anything coming except for Brashen. Brashen probably knew he was getting put off. He's the only one who's like, yeah, I saw that coming from a mile away.
Yeah, I think Althea's stuff, though, is because she just had so much faith in her father, and she thought that her father had more control over the stuff, and she didn't know that her mom was going to cause that influence. So I think that's kind of fair because her father never gave any indication that he wasn't going to. He raised her up to be the next captain. So if her mom hadn't interfered, I think her dad would have 100% stuck with that, though. It is Robin Hobb.
Well, and it's funny because everybody says she's not an experienced sailor. And from the standpoint of a slaughter ship or anything that's not a live ship, no, she's not. But she did have the experience of a live ship.
Yeah.
So she would have never needed those skills in the first place.
But she even recognized later on that she was like, oh, I'm not as good of a sailor as I thought. I always just putzed around and helped when I could. But then when I actually had to do the work on a regimented schedule, she said that she wasn't as good of a sailor as she thought. So I thought,
if you're the captain, if you're the captain, you don't really have to. She's probably very good at giving orders, and she knows what has to be done. Just doing it, probably she's not as good at.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that she was able to recognize that, and
that is cool. I think she did really well when she went off on her own, and she was good at toughing it out, not complaining or whining or anything like that. She really did a pretty good job, I thought.
I was like, girl, you better not go home. You better not go home.
What is Sinden? Do we have a real world? Well, I understand what it is. Do we have a real world equivalent? The most I could think of was just tobacco dip.
Yeah, but maybe
they have this in Asia where they suck on these leaves and they turn their teeth all red.
Oh, I've seen those trees too. I've been to Taiwan.
I've never tried it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just some drug that Robin Hobb made up, apparently.
Probably.
Okay.
But it probably is took inspiration from that because that's what it reminded me of.
That would make sense.
Learn something new.
Yeah. I don't know the word in English, but yeah.
Okay.
So
what do you guys think about the small little, I don't know, sections where the serpents were talking to each other? What do you think that's about?
I didn't like it.
I thought it was weird, but I think it's going to become really important.
Yeah. I found it weird. It was kind of just thrown in there and there's no context given. Who are they? What are they? What's going on? So it was boring.
Okay, so here's what I took from it. Nobody knows where Liveship Wood comes from.
The Wizard
Wood.
Yeah, nobody knows where the Wizard Wood comes from. Yet Vivacia says that she can talk to the serpents. She doesn't understand why. Do you think that basically Wizard Wood is just petrified serpent?
Oh,
maybe, but that's a crap ton of petrified serpent.
It's incredibly expensive and incredibly rare. So it could be this whole betel nut. Yes, that's what. Sorry, Jeremy looked it up.
Betel nut.
That's
Thank you, Jeremy.
That's not what it is.
No, that's the drug. Sinden would.
Oh, okay.
We're thinking, but I think that the serpents are being captured and killed, and then petrified and turned into wizard wood. That's the only reason I could see them being in the book, because otherwise at the end that entire tangle just leaves. They're like, oh, we were wrong, and they go.
I don't know. I always thought that they were just dragons.
Did they say some of the wizard wood is in that drug?
In Sinden?
Did I not remember that right?
I never read that.
They did. I didn't
Okay.
catch it, but maybe.
Okay. Never
Didn't
mind
catch
that.
either.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like the serpent, just because of what happened in Assassins, the first year trilogy, you know, and with the dragons. So I was
You
like,
think they're the original dragons?
I think that it's something like that. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that maybe, I guess, I don't want to spoil Assassin's Quest, but
That was hard. That's why I was like, dragons. Just
you know how there's like the live and then the not?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they come from the not and then they like come to life as with the people dying on their decks.
Interesting.
Maybe. I kind of understand what you're talking about there.
I don't know. It's hard to explain without.
Yeah,
getting
you're trying
spoiled.
not to spoil, and I get it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's really hard.
They didn't serve a purpose in the book other than, to me, in Ship of Magic, you don't get why they're there.
But on
So-
like old covers, like even with this one and I think the other one, like they're on the cover, so they have to have
Yeah,
some sort of purpose.
They have to be important, otherwise they wouldn't be added in there. Like they have their own point of view. You know, it's not just them swimming behind the ship. Like we recognize they're like sentient beings and stuff. So
I don't know, I'll be curious to see if they are in fact a source for the wizard wood.
mhm.
And then another thing I was like kind of questioning is we get introduced literally at the beginning of the book to the others, and then that's it. There's
The
like
others.
that when Kenneth goes on the
Mhm.
island.
The island of the
Oh, the
ship
others.
treasure.
Sorry, I completely
yeah.
forgot about them.
The ones that don't like cats.
Yes, they're
Yeah.
introduced, and then it's like this whole like fish people, and then they're never talked about again. I'm like, well, they got to be important. That's super cool.
Right?
So, I don't-
Well, and I think it's funny because throughout all of Farseer, they're saying, you know, that magic isn't really a thing. And then here we are over in Bingtown, and magic's just freaking everywhere.
Mhm.
And they view the Six Duchies as barbarians, but like I never really understood that there might be this disconnect of like old world where there's just magic isn't really a thing other than the skill and the wit, and then we come over here to closer to the Rain Wilds, which makes me really want to read the Rain Wild books.
I just got
Yes.
it long ago. I'm so excited now. I'm like so invested in that.
This version of those books is super expensive.
Really?
Yeah,
No,
well,
we don't
because
get it.
they're going to charge you $35 for all 4 books, and then they're going to charge you another $40 in shipping.
Oh my gosh.
The UK versions?
Yeah,
I just have a market paperback.
I haven't been able to find them here in the U.S.
I side note for UK books, I've been getting the Robin Hobb ones from Blackwell's, and it's free shipping to the US
I'll have to look in there.
if they're on there.
Just kind of open up a tab
So
right here.
Amber was wearing earrings. One was a serpent and the other was a dragon. So I'm telling you, they're water dragons. That's my
That
favorite.
would be cool.
Also, oh, now wasn't Althea given the serpent egg? Wasn't that the
Mm-hmm.
bead
Yes.
that Amber gave her? What do
Yeah.
you think that might mean? I don't know.
Maybe she's gonna hatch a serpent. Sorry, going back really quick, I went onto Book Depository and I found the Rainwild Chronicles, the first one, Dragon Keeper. It's $14.06 and it's free shipping. So
Really?
maybe if you want to try out there instead. But
No, they are in Blackwell's as well.
They might. I know. Well, I haven't bought from Book Depository in a while, but just because shipping delays and stuff, there was some shipping delays.
yeah,
So.
there definitely are shipping delays, but since you're not going to get to it for a while, might not be a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah. And I've ordered from Blackwell's recently, and it comes within like 2 weeks or so. It's not bad.
So I wonder how much the skill and the wit is actually different than Rainwild magic, or it's just a different perspective. No.
I don't know. I feel like the skill and the wit is very focused on people, like, and other animals. Like the skill and the wit focus on like you interacting with people or animals, but the Rainwild magic seems to affect objects, doesn't it? 'Cause
Well,
they
the
have-
skill the skill can affect objects. It's a bit of a spoiler.
Yeah,
A little.
it can, but not. I feel like not in the same way as the Rainwild magic.
Well, so in my first year video that I did, I noted that people use the skill on the wit, but there are only people who are proficient in it. There are no remaining masters within the six duchies, so we actually don't know what it can do.
That's very true.
But if you think about it, so once a live ship quickens, it's sentient, right?
Yes.
And then Althea was always talking about, and even Wintro, like they have almost this unspoken bond between them. They can feel what each other feels. So isn't that kind of like the wit?
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you think
it is almost like a wit bond that's
Yeah.
established over 3 generations?
So I wonder if it's the same magic, just like a different manifestation of it.
Totally
Maybe.
could be, yeah.
I feel like Hobb does a lot of soft magic systems
Yes.
where they're really. She will come up with something that sounds really cool and you can just accept, but if it doesn't always necessarily require an explanation, she'll only tell you what it can't do, not what it can do.
I think that's a very common thing for people to have done more like in the past. I feel like a lot of authors nowadays, like Brandon Sanderson stuff, they make these very hard magic systems with the rules that surround them. You know what you can do, you know what you can't do. Like it's very intricate. It's almost like a science. And so I think a lot of us have developed this expectation that that's how magic systems should be, when in reality, I mean, if you look at Lord of the Rings, that is like a ridiculously soft magic system. Like there are no rules there. You just kind of like go along and accept what he says. So yeah.
Well, I just recently reading Glenn Cook's Black Company, and magic in there is just whatever the author wanted to do. Like he can summon toads, he can control fire. There's just no bounds, no limits.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had a problem really understanding Robin Hobb's magic systems. I mean, it's not, there's not a lot of rules to it, but like, you know, you can't do one thing and then something, like you can't, I don't know, go invisible and then fly. You know, it's very specific about what you can do.
Yeah, so I'd say it's probably in the middle. It's not fully soft, but it's not, here are the rules.
Right.
At least not yet. I haven't read the rest of Fitz's story.
Books, yeah.
Well, I heard, even though she said she was done, I thought I had heard a rumor that she was thinking about doing another story within the world of the Six Duchies.
Who's she gonna follow?
I don't know.
That's exciting.
That is exciting.
So I'd be interested to know if that's actually true.
I actually thought these books were a lot older than they are.
Like the 90s?
Because, yeah, I didn't even think Robin Hobb was still alive. This is terrible. Reading them, I'm like, oh, they're so old. And then I look, I'm like, it's like the late 90s. It's fine.
Yeah, no, she's still kicking.
Yeah.
I'm excited to read the Rainwild. Is it the Rainworld Chronicles? Because now I'm wondering, like, it was never explained, or if it was, I missed it, why the people that live there are deformed. Was that ever explained?
No. Something about wild magic.
Yeah.
It was just
well, the first book's called The Dragon Keeper. So
yeah, Dragon Keepers.
Or Dragon Keeper. So that automatically makes it sound so interesting.
What I am nervous about is that series is supposed to be the weakest out of the Realm of the Elderlings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
I have.
Okay.
Dang, that's the one I feel like I'm the most interested in.
Yeah, well, everything else is a trilogy, and apparently the publisher pushed for a quartet.
Yeah, it's 4.
So they stretched.
Okay.
They pulled the Hobbit movie.
Dude, I watched the Hobbit movie, and after the second one, I was like, what else is there that's going to happen? There's nothing left. And my sister's like, there's a whole nother movie, because she hadn't read the book. I was like,
I understand that whole fight with that orc that was mentioned like once in the book.
Yeah, what was that?
Yep.
It's not good.
Whole new romances that weren't a thing. Legolas was there, even though he never appears in the book.
No.
We get to see a picture of young Gimli.
So random.
Anyway, Now that I've derailed it.
Sorry.
So I thought it was funny, not funny, but like ironic when you had the scene where Kenneth gets his leg eaten.
Mhm.
I'm like, how much more pirate could he get?
Right?
That felt a little bit plot armor-ish to me, just because even Windrow goes, if he didn't have the willpower to keep going, he'd be dead already. And it's just like, well, no, either you're dying or I don't know. That was very, very fantasy to me.
Yeah.
Of the power of your will is keeping you going.
Right. It's like, no, if you're septic, you die. That's just the way life works.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's gonna die, obviously, because he's in the book. But like, what do you think about the girl? What's her name? Oh my god,
Edda?
Edda?
I wanted to call her. I don't know what I was thinking. Faye. I don't know why. Edda. So, like, I was not expecting her to be a main character in this book at all. I thought she was just, whatever she was. But I think she's gonna maybe play a part. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I don't understand her. I don't understand why she is the way she is, but I hate saying the word whore. I absolutely hate it.
Prostitute.
Yeah, prostitute. There we go.
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally a chapter in here called Kenneth's prostitute.
Yeah.
And it's where we're introduced to her. And the whole time I'm like, I don't understand. This guy is obviously being a douche to you.
Right?
Yeah, I don't get that devotion to him.
Like,
I don't get it either. He treats her so bad.
Like, in his head, we're inside his head, and he's literally saying, should I kill her? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, I'll have to. He's obviously proving too competent. I'm going to have to kill her. Oh, she's proving too competent. I may have to kill her. You can't just go around killing people and expect to establish a following.
It's crazy.
It is so funny that you said that because, like, I thought it was funny or ironic because we're inside his head and we know what he's thinking. And then he goes around acting the complete opposite. He's like, I care about my men. I care about my first mate. I care about freeing these slaves. And, like, people along these port towns are, like, celebrating him as a hero. And inside his head, we're inside his head. He's like, I want to kill everybody. Like, I just thought it was, I don't know, humorous that she was able to portray him as being loved by everybody else. And he really is just doing it for selfish ambitions.
That whole chapter where he is just madder than hell that he has to sell the slave ship, the very first one they capture. And then, like, he just comes on island and it just so happens that
I know.
it's their kinsman and he's this giant hero and it just explodes and all of a sudden everything just goes Kenneth's way.
Yes.
No matter what, it's just, and he's like, it's my luck. Well, where's your luck coming from, sir?
It's like the opposite.
I have some.
He's like the anti-Fitz.
Yes.
I think isn't it his wizard wood, his charm that gives him the luck?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's mentioned that he had luck prior to acquiring the charm, though.
Did he say that?
He's
he
always been lucky.
Okay.
They always talk about Kenneth's luck.
So what do you think? What was the prophecy that was given to him at the beginning of the book? Wasn't it, or was it vague? It wasn't really explained.
It was very vague.
It was vague. He basically said, "Will I achieve my goal?" And they said, "Yes." But then
and
you're like,
that was the only thing that he wanted.
Well, and then the anti-Fitz.
Yes.
I don't know. I really don't know. I'd be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on that.
The old drunk man.
So did he just want the live ship so that he could, like, pirate more? Or was there more to him wanting it? Because
I think it was a prestige that went along with it as well. Like owning a pirate or a live ship kind of gave him that credibility to be the king instead of just a pirate. Like he'd be higher up, like have that credibility because only like the very highest families had live ships. So that was kind of the impression I got.
Well, to me, it seemed almost irrational for him to think he could capture a live ship because it's never been done. And I'm wondering if it's going to go deeper. I don't know how it's going to go deeper, but it almost seems like Kenneth has some sort of obsession to push himself.
He's a very obsessive person.
And that just can't end here. So I feel like in books 2 and 3, we're going to get a further deep dive into either some sort of trauma from his past or figure out something that's driving him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's possible.
To do these things.
I could see, because towards the end, when they finally capture Vivacia and Etta sees how Kenneth is like reacting to Vivacia, it's almost
So
like
weird.
he's in love with her. I was
Like she's jealous of a ship.
I know. I thought it was hilarious. Number one, the way he was talking to the ship, like it was his wife.
To be fair, it is a topless woman on the figurehead.
It's wood.
But it doesn't look like wood. It just doesn't have. She's supposedly very lifelike.
It's interesting
But
that
she
you're
doesn't
taking the
have,
man
like,
side on
she
this,
doesn't
and we're
have-
just like, nope.
Doesn't have
That's
pores.
weird.
Doesn't have
Weird.
fingerprints.
It was weird.
Oh, I don't know. It's weird to me.
Weird.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you think Etta's gonna do something to Vivacia out of jealousy? She seems like
Better not.
she seems like she's off her rocker. Like
It seems like she's a little bit.
She's a little crazy.
a little cray cray.
Yeah.
A little cray cray.
Yeah, I can see her trying something in the next book.
I don't know. I think Kenneth's gonna drop her, and she's gonna have to grow somewhere else.
Mm.
Either A, she's gonna get pregnant, and he's gonna have to do something about it.
But she wears the charm that keeps her.
No, Althea wears the charm, doesn't
Yes.
I thought all
Althea wears the charm.
Etta does too. Kenneth
Yeah.
Etta wears the charm
does.
too.
I mean, I'm sure most prostitutes do.
Yeah,
If they're
and it-
available, why wouldn't you, right?
Because that's why her sister gave her that charm. 'Cause
Yeah.
she
Oh,
didn't
that
want to
scene
do
made me so
something.
mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely some trigger warnings in here for anyone that hasn't read it.
I was mad at Kefria for that.
Kefria bugged me so bad.
Why?
Because I felt like she didn't want any responsibilities, but then when people didn't trust her to take responsibility, she got annoyed with them. I'm like, you can't have it both ways here. Like,
Yeah.
you can't not want them and they get mad when you don't get them. Like, what is this?
Yeah, it bugged me. Again, this comes back to the whole thing is, if she was this weak, how did your family not know and then set you up to inherit?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, if
agree
you
with
are
that.
literally this stay-at-home daughter, you are exposed to this woman every day of her life.
See, I feel like there's more to that story, more to that transfer of inheritance to Kefria than she let on in that book. Like, it just didn't sit well with me. I'm like, why would Dad raise Althea on that ship and then give it to like? It just something. I don't know. I feel like there's something else there that's going to be revealed later.
I
There's
hope
a
so.
reason why Ephraim did that.
Since we're in a spoiler chat, literally Kyle knocks him out in front of his wife, and then like, oh, don't worry, it's for his own good. How? He's 12. You just cleaned his clock. He's on the floor, unconscious. And then 2 pages later, he's a good man.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
don't get why she loves him so much. Like,
By about 3/4, she's no longer in love with him.
Well, she should. I don't know. I just think Kefria really kind of screwed him all over bad.
Like, and then Kyle's just like, I can't go home, like, because he got Windrow tattooed. He got his finger cut off. He got him tattooed on the face.
Yeah,
Like, you
Kefria's
turned her
not letting
son
me
into
back
a
in
slave.
after that.
To a life ship.
It's just a whole bunch of messed up stuff. I will say that I am glad that Torque got what he deserved.
That was hilarious. I laughed so hard.
yeah.
I know. I love. They're like, pitch him.
Yeah.
Can we trust him? No.
In that book, I'm like,
I know that was awesome.
Oh, he was the worst.
he's just a bully. Like he just
Why was he so mean to Windrow?
he's like small for his age and he's a kid and you're bullying. Just
Yeah, I don't like people.
Like,
that.
I understood that, like, maybe he's a bit of a bully and it's just tough love to turn him into a sailor. Or maybe not tough love, but just being an ass to turn him into a sailor. That's fine. But then, like, Kyle didn't know he was in the slave pen. He never went back and reported it. And all Windrow would have had to do was like, he knew I was there, right? Like, and then again, that's the whole fantasy thing, is nobody ever communicates. Which
romance.
well, and that also bugged me with Kyle. Is literally Kyle's just like, when somebody talks to Kyle and goes, "Hey, this is a bad idea," he either A, responded with anger, B, indifference, or C, arrogance.
Yep.
And like then he's shocked when it goes horribly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. He hates people who are smarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Theme of like arrogance, like y'all said, and like control in this book with a lot of
Everybody was smarter than Torg. Torg was the worst, and he deserved what he got. Anyway.
That's me. Well, you liked the finger cutting scene, didn't you?
Me? I loved it.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was really
I
well
thought
done.
that was a good scene.
Yeah.
My only problem with it is it felt like great character growth, which was then immediately thrown out when Windrow ran away.
Yes.
That's true.
It felt like great character growth. And like literally, he knows that he can walk away at 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, yeah, 2 years is a long time. And the young, I will. But, the young always think that 2 years is forever away. And they're, of course, wrong. You only learn that as you get older. But if he'd have just waited, he could have walked away. Yeah, he'd have been down a finger, but he could have easily gone back to his priesthood.
I thought it was curious when that whole scene was happening and like he kind of like steps out of almost his consciousness. And I'm like, is that some sort of magical ability?
Sounds a little bit like the skill where you can go into someone else's, but this one he just kind of went like out.
Well, you mentioned that it similar to the wit is the connection with the live ship.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean Fitz does that many times. Yeah, he does that at the end of Royal Assassin. So he can do that in Farce here. So I'm wondering again if it's a parallel here.
Yeah.
True, but it sounded like he could do it without the ship. Like it sounded like it was something he'd done before.
Yeah, at the monastery. That's when we were first introduced to him. He was like in that same state with the stained glass or something.
Oh, I read that as he just zoned out.
I read it like I don't know the words I'm looking for. Like stepped out of his body, like his consciousness. I don't know, something like that.
Meditated, reached like
Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah, astral projected.
Yeah, something like that. That's the way I took it.
Did everyone love Wintro?
Yeah,
overall, yeah, I did.
I would say I 80% loved Windrow. Is it Windrow or Windrow?
Wintro
Wintro
with the T. I don't know. I felt a little bit like I liked his parts. I thought they were very interesting, and I thought like the stuff around him was really interesting, and I loved reading about it. But I didn't really feel much of a connection with him. I don't know. Like I didn't really care that much when he got sold as a slave because I was like, dude, that you made some poor decisions, and it kind of landed you there. Like that sucks. But,
well, you decided to jump ship in like the #1 slave city.
Yeah, and people told you don't go there, and you did it anyway. So
that whole scene just made me mad, though. Like, you can't just like make anyone a slave. Like, there's no due process.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
lawlessness just made me mad.
Well, is it the satrap or what was his name?
The satrap. I don't know.
Satrap. I've never actually heard the word pronounced, so I don't know. I've only ever read the word satrap. He's obviously corrupt.
Yeah.
And going around breaking all the promises, ruining the monopolies that the Liveship Traders had, just all the new traders and everything of that. What do you think of Devad?
Who?
The trader, that's the old trader, and his wife died, and
the guy who caught Malta.
Yeah.
Because he's like a family friend, but then he like owns a slave, but then he's like helping with Malta, but then he's spending all this time with the new traders trying to bring in slavery into Bingtown.
Yeah, he's kind of shady to me.
Yeah, I think that he could go either way. He's one of those that'll be put in a position and have to choose, but I just don't yet know. Because when they were having that town meeting, he and everyone was saying we need to stand up against, what the satrap is doing. He's like, no, we should just go along with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but I think something might happen that'll put him in his place. I'm not sure.
Well, he's also the one trying to broker the sale of Paragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true. I originally thought that for some reason that he was going to marry Malta. I don't know why I thought that.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me in a Robin Hobb book.
Yeah,
if it's awful.
Outfit.
Oh, you mean the whole prostitute outfit?
Yeah.
Just I don't know, like
where she stole the fabric from Althea's chest.
Right?
She's just.
She's a terrible person. She's 12 and she's already like this mean and selfish. I'm like, how?
She's a little mean girl.
Oh, that scene between her and Ronica where she's like threatening Ronica, and I'm like, I seriously would have hit her many times. Like, oh my god.
That wouldn't have flown with my parents.
Oh gosh, no, I would have got beat.
I'd have gotten thrown through a window.
I did enjoy seeing Kefria like try a little bit harder and actually like put parameters, like parental restrictions.
Yeah.
And she needs to start learning how to manage a household and do all this.
Yeah.
But I feel like Malta might have been a little too far gone at that point.
Yeah, too little, too late.
Yeah.
Well, and then they kept saying that you don't understand the dangers, but nobody really explained what those were to her either.
Well, I can see both sides because that's not really something you would explain to a 12-year-old.
Well, yeah, but maybe like age.
But she should have understood that she is not, in fact, a woman.
Yeah.
And she's trying to force the issue. And then, but at the same time, Ronica's like, oh, you know more than you've been letting on. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, she doesn't. So either A, Ronica's just gullible and dense, which I hate to say that because I actually did mostly like Ronica's character, other than the whole inheritance thing where she literally tells Althea to her face, yes, I betrayed you, and then doesn't give any reason why she did so.
Mm-hmm.
I clearly convinced your father to go against what he wanted.
That just doesn't make sense.
I know.
I don't know.
I feel like they did explain to Malta some of the stuff, like when she got the box and they're like, this is what it means. If you open it, this is what it means. And then she did it anyways, and she's all
she expected it to be full of jewels.
What exactly they told her would happen.
At least own up to it. Don't lie about it.
Oh, she lied about everything. She's like a pathological liar.
She's horrible. Yeah.
It's insane. I don't know if you can redeem her. I just don't think so.
She will be.
They say that.
You don't think she will be?
So.
Oh, you hold a grudge.
But I'm like, why would she have been given a point of view? That's the thing. Unless just to piss the reader off, which achieved. But
yeah, there's got to be something. But I wanted to smack her the whole book.
The whole book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about? Do you think anything's gonna come from the little kid? I
don't even remember his name.
Selden? No,
yeah. So you think he's just kind of a useless extra child? They're never gonna address.
Yeah, he's just there.
How did you guys feel about the pacing in the book? Did you fly? I know Nico says he flew through this.
I went through it really quickly.
I did too.
It might be because I read 2 Hobb books in 1 month. I had to drag myself through this.
It kept me gripped, even though the story wasn't overly action-packed. I kept wanting to come back and read it. I eventually got the audiobook for it, and that helped me get through it faster. So once I got the audiobook, I was really able to get through it because I listen when I'm driving and stuff like that. I didn't have any particular problems with the pacing.
No, me neither.
But I mean,
it could be I was just in a slump. But I was reading 50 pages a day towards the end there.
Selden. Thank you.
Selden.
Alloy, zero down.
That was close.
You were very close.
Like Salem, Selden.
Salem would be better. Salem's an awesome name, especially for a black cat.
Yes.
I don't know. The audiobooks for these are on Scribd, though. In case anyone.
Yeah, that's where I got it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the narrator.
No, me neither.
Okay.
I ended up speeding it up to like 2 times because I thought she was so slow.
Oh, I can't do that.
And
I
then
can
it didn't bother me as much.
I can only ever get to 1.5.
Like she would go, huh. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why?
Yeah, like when who was it that would be talking and they would like really extend everything out? Who was that?
I don't know, but it annoyed the heck out of me. I'm like,
Oh, me too. It drove me nuts. And why would you have like, I don't know who this person is, but it sounded like a fairly older lady.
good.
Like the only older character is Ronica. Like everyone else is young. Why are you having this like very old narrator doing this book? It doesn't fit.
Yeah, I don't know if she does Madship. I hope not. I mean, I listened to it, but like she just was not good, in my opinion.
I didn't like the narrator for the Farseer trilogy either, actually.
Well, thank God I read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read most of it, and then I listened to some of Assassin's Quest, and I was like, oh, this is rough.
It's the 90s audiobooks.
Right.
What did you all think of Brashen as a character, or Sorko, or Raka?
I liked Brashen quite a bit.
I
Did you?
really like Brashen.
Yeah.
I just feel like he tries to be noble. He tries to do the right thing. I feel like he kind of was just floating through life a little bit. I felt like he could have had just a little bit more ambition.
Yeah.
He's a man of many vices.
You know, but I mean, Ephraim told him to watch over Althea, and he followed through with it. But obviously, we learned because he's in love with her. So
See, I didn't think he was in love with her at that point. I think
I
at
didn't
that time
either.
he was just trying to be a good guy.
Yeah, I think he was so indebted to Ephron, and he loved him like a father, and so he wanted to do right by him.
Like I understood he obviously noticed Althea, like he was attracted to her physically, but I don't think at that time it was any sort of sexual attraction.
But I mean, they didn't spend that much time together for him to be in love with her. Like
He was the only girl on a ship of men, and he's a guy. Like, I feel like it's...
He fell in
Well,
love.
the man-on-man relationships were mentioned on the ships, where like it was like, no, I'm not that guy. Like, it's not me.
Yeah, so I feel like it, where there's one girl and that's it for months and months and months, you could develop an attraction for sure.
Well, he also had to keep her secret, and so that kind of, I felt, created almost a sort of intimacy there.
Yeah.
Where I know who you are, I'll keep your secret. They sort of, without interacting, almost developed a relationship of trust.
Yeah, that's true. But I think he plays a bigger part in the next book, because I was reading the synopsis and it's like a ridiculously long synopsis. So I think that he does play a bigger part. Another thing I'm curious about for the next book. So Kenneth basically takes Vivacia, and I'm wondering, like, if I know that she's not supposed to be able to develop a relationship with anybody other than like a Vestrit, but I'm just wondering if, because of Kenneth's love for her and attentiveness, that she might be okay with him being her captain.
Well, they do make the distinction that there is a difference between captain and owner. So she's very willing to let him captain her. She almost, at the end, she almost found that an alluring concept. And but she still needs Wintro there.
Yeah.
So basically, as long as Wintro is there, she's more than willing to accept Kenneth, because Kenneth is mysterious. He woos her, unlike Kyle, who just basically ranted and raved and forced her to do things she didn't want to do, and just steeped her in blood and misery and death.
Yeah, Kenneth's not a slaver. He's not using her as a slave ship.
He can't be a slaver.
He can't?
Not at this point, he can't.
Not at this point. He's established himself as a liberator of slaves.
Yeah.
So if he becomes a slaver, he loses everything that he's gained.
Yeah. Because I don't know. I could see Vivacia, not really wanting to go back to the Vestra family if she has Wintro and she has Kenneth. Like, I could see her not really wanting to go back.
Well, I have looked at the synopsis for Mad Ship, and I do think that Paragon, they're going to use Paragon, I think, to go after Vivacia. Is what I'm thinking is going to happen. I think Kenneth's of course going to take Vivacia. She has live ships can steer themselves a little bit, but it's not without effort. I mean, I think it took Paragon, they said a couple decades to make it back into, like, he disappeared for 30 years.
Yeah, but maybe that's because he didn't want to, because he knew he'd killed his family. Not that he couldn't.
I think there's more to that because they keep mentioning bloodstains on the deck itself, and short of releasing their lines or their tethers, I don't see how a live ship, other than turning, which wouldn't leave bloodstains on the deck.
I'm wondering if he's imbued with a bunch of people's different memories. You know how they die on the deck.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why he's crazy.
I don't know.
I really liked, what was the other live ship that we got introduced to? Was it Ophelia?
Ophelia was awesome.
She was so cool.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
I'm like, there's this group of live ships. You guys can get together and, I loved it. I thought it was great.
And it's just this giant backhanded, we could have solved all your issues if you'd have just come to us.
Isn't that aggravating when a conflict could have been resolved with simple communication?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but how are you supposed to know that? I feel like there's so much mystery around the live ships.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to learn more as the series goes on, definitely. So a lot to look forward to, especially. Yeah, it's great.
What are y'all hoping for from the rest of the series? Like, do you have any expectations?
That Kyle dies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's top of the list.
Very painful death.
If Kyle doesn't die, I riot.
I don't know.
I would love to see Vivacia and Althea united, because you can tell that that's her ship. That's all she wants. So I would like to see that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will ever love Vivacia the same way that Althea does. She just has that deep bond that's developed her whole life. And that's what she wants. Even if Wintro loves her, it's not what he wants at all. So there's always going to be that resentment there. So
that's a great point.
I think Wintro is going to end up with Vivacia.
Do you?
I do.
Maybe he'll grow to love her.
I think Althea is going to let it go and end up with Brashen.
Could be.
Or Brashen's going to die. I don't know.
Or maybe they're all going to die.
Well, to be fair, it comes to us all.
I mean, I would be okay with that ending with Wintro, because I would be okay with that ending.
Where he just kind of embraces it and realizes he was never meant to be a priest.
Mm-hmm.
Or he can use his priest training to form a really good connection with Vivacia.
Something like that, yeah. Be okay with that.
Well, he can't go back now, he said, because of his tattoo.
Yeah, he is tattooed.
So what does it mean to be slave to a ship? Because doesn't his dad tattoo the figurehead on his face? What is that?
Torg tattooed.
Oh, I think they just made that up. I don't think that ever was a thing until they're like, well, let's.
Yeah, he's the first.
Vivacia, and then
what does that mean?
It means that basically he has to do whatever the ship tells him to.
Yeah, that she owns him.
Even though she would never exercise that authority. It's not within her frame of reference.
It's so stupid.
It is stupid, but it's Kyle's thinking.
Kyle straight up said that it was a stupid idea.
Yeah. He was just mad, and he's like, you know what? The ship wants the boy. I'll just let her own him.
It just, I don't know. It seemed like circular reasoning.
No, that was just Kyle.
I wish my wife would find out I did something like that.
What? A ship figurehead?
I'd have to leave the country.
You are owned by a ship, Andrew.
Well, a relationship, yeah.
Oh,
I
funny.
personally don't really have any other predictions. I think there's definitely something going on with the serpents. I think they're water dragons. I think they have something to do with the Rainwild people. I think Malta is gonna play a big part. I think Kyle's gonna die. I don't know about Etta. I think something's gonna go on with her. She's gonna try and injure Vivacia. She's gonna do something because she's crazy.
I think Kenneth's gonna die.
Do you?
I think Kenneth will die.
I don't know.
I think Kenneth's gonna either go power hungry and like become the villain and do some like make some big mistakes and die.
Okay.
I think he's being set up because right now he's got control of Kyle, who was our initial villain. Kyle is literally damaged and in what room did they put him in? Althea's old room?
One of the cabins, yeah.
Yeah, he's in one of the cabins just bandaged up and broken. So basically Kenneth has supplanted him. Those storylines have come together and I think Kenneth is the villain going forward.
Yeah. Doesn't Wintro promise to heal him?
Kenneth?
Yeah.
Yeah, he promises to perform the surgery.
Yeah.
In order to basically remove the gangrene, sepsis, or the septic flesh from his leg.
But those are really all my predictions. I don't know about y'all. And I'm super curious about Amber. I don't know if she's gonna play another role or if that was just her role to give Althea the charm, because there's got to be some symbolism or something with the charm. The fact that it's a serpent's egg and these serpents are attacking her, there's got to be something there.
By the end of the book, Amber and Paragon are starting to bond. And she straight up says, "I'm going to buy you.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want me to, I'm going to buy you." So I think Amber is going to become Paragon's owner, even against his wishes.
Yeah.
So, a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the next one.
Yeah.
Can you say that again?
Has anyone started reading Madship yet?
Oh,
No,
God,
yeah,
no.
I
My
don't wanna
TBR
start
is
it before
insane.
Huh?
My TBR is insane right now.
Jeff, did you? I didn't hear what you said.
I didn't want to start it before this because I knew we would talk about predictions and I didn't want to know anything because I didn't want to spoil anything.
I probably won't start till like the middle of April because I got some stuff that I'm trying to get through first. But
Yeah, me too.
It's probably going to be the last book I read in April.
Same. Yeah, the same thing with.
I've got so much.
Yes.
Has she read it?
I guess so.
Yeah, she says she's keeping her lips zipped on predictions, so I'm guessing yes.
Are we even close?
She's probably like, you guys are way off.
Yeah, she's probably like, I'm not even gonna watch the next show because they'll just be saying how wrong they were.
Right. Oh my gosh.
All right. Do you guys have any other? I feel like I'm in school. Questions, comments, concerns, guys?
Right.
I can't think of anything else I want to talk about.
What?
Okay, she finished the trilogy last month. Very cool.
Nice.
Wow.
Ooh.
Which was your favorite book out of all three?
Yeah. We have to wait like the 10 seconds delay for the comments to come through.
How many watchers do we have?
It's been up and down.
It was
right now.
higher earlier. She
Yeah.
says Madship 100%.
Madship 100%.
Woohoo.
Well, if anybody, I would open it up to the comment section to see if they've got any questions that they would like to hear us talk about. And if they don't, then
You guys have?
Again, we're going to have to wait for the delay.
Okay. How dare you guys not talk? I'm kidding.
Right.
yeah, it's like a 5-second delay. Yeah, is there anything that you wanted to hear us talk about that we missed?
Anything
Yeah,
not Robin Hobb related?
We also could do that.
Yeah.
This didn't ask me anything. It was just said it was a Robin Hobb. I'm kidding.
I've got to do my 100 subscriber Q&A here coming up, so
Why do
I'm
you
excited
hate
for that.
Kenneth?
What?
Someone asked, why do you hate Kenneth?
Because he's a bad man.
And
He's
so
bad.
what he thinks about women is horrible.
It's terrible the way he thinks about Etta. He's
Yeah.
so horrible.
He's manipulative. He's abusive.
I'm just gonna kill her, like, cause she might have more influence than you. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
it's like, I paid for you. Like, you have to do what I want. I'm like, oh my gosh.
or when she saves his life,
Yeah.
I
I'm
know.
mad at her.
he's mad. Why did you do this to me?
Yes. Like, it's my fault that her fault that the servant ate his leg. Like, or because she had to cut it off.
Yeah.
She made a in the moment decision and brought that axe down on his leg, and then he's all pissy about it.
Yeah, he's being a baby.
I had to use different wording than what I was gonna say.
Yeah, he's a very bad person.
He's the best.
I mean, he's a very interesting character for sure. Like,
yeah, he is interesting,
so interesting.
but he's a bad person.
Yeah, like
He's kind of like
fundamentally, he's just
that you love.
bad. No, like you can love reading from his perspective because you're like, oh my gosh, this person is horrible, but you can't really like love him necessarily.
Yeah.
He was kind of like, do I really want to go on record as saying that? I was gonna say he's kind of like the Glocta of the Liveship Traders, but Glocta is such a good character from First Law that I don't know if I can actually put my stamp on that.
I haven't read it.
I haven't read it.
Yeah,
You haven't read it?
I think he's way worse than Glocta. Glocta had some redeeming qualities.
I love Glocta.
Yeah. Because I feel like even the good things that Kenneth does, he only does them to get what he wants, Like, he's fine just killing all the slaves. He doesn't care. So.
Yeah, that scene where, like, they mistook him for being emotional, like, among the slaves. He was just really disgusted, and he was trying not to let the smell was making his eyes water, and they mistook that for crying.
I know.
That's funny.
Oh, like
That's why I said I loved being inside of his head, because it's like we know what kind of person he is, but everyone else has this different perception.
I know.
or when like he had the baby named after his first mate just kind of as a bad joke, and then it meant the whole world to him.
Yeah.
So bad. Oh my god.
Or when he's like, "Hey, you're dying. We really shouldn't do this. I'm dying. Go after this live ship for me. It's my final request." And it's just like, "Yes, sir."
They all love him. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Just a bad man.
Best Kenneth scene is when he told Torque. Did you mean Torque? The mate.
Yeah. I think I don't know how his name is spelled.
I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, it's here at the end.
Yeah.
So, Sorcor, Sorcor.
Yeah.
So
probably
yeah.
Auto-corrected to Scorn.
Yeah, it probably was autocorrect.
Although Scorn is kind of a good name for him.
Yeah.
Fits.
Oh, I don't know. He's just so bad to Edda. But then, like, he gets mad if people try to hurt her.
Maybe he's got.
He sees her as like property, I guess.
Possessive.
Maybe.
That's
Yeah, I
what
think
I'm
he's just
thinking.
possessive. Yeah.
Like, that's mine. How dare you try to hurt what's mine?
But
Yeah, more like an animal than a person.
Yeah.
I hope you all do this for Matchup. We will.
Well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
I will wreck my TBR to make sure I get this done.
Is it
Yeah.
oh my gosh. What's his name? Gonna join us. He like loves Ship of Magic. Andy, yeah.
He couldn't join for this show. I don't know about next show. I'll have to get with him. And then Jolene, she read the whole series, but then she said that she couldn't remember like what happened in what book, and she didn't want to accidentally spoil anything. So she's like, she might join for the last show.
Okay,
So,
that makes sense.
yeah.
And I think Nico also plans on joining in later. He just had family into town.
Yeah. So we'll see, because I know like a lot of things come up, and it's good to have like people that are willing to come and chat with us, like Andrew stepped in because he's the best. So
Thank you. You're the best. Around.
I personally don't have anything else to contribute. I don't know if you guys do.
I've expressed
No, I think it's been good.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
expressed the majority of my thoughts.
Well, for anyone who's watching, if you want to read along with us, we're reading Mad Ship obviously this month, and then we're reading Ship of Destiny in April. You can chat about it on Discord. I just set up the channel for Mad Ship last night. So if you guys start reading it, you can start chatting about it. But yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts and everything, and stay tuned for the live show announcement for Mad Ship.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
It was great seeing you guys.